Welcome back to Build a Skatepark. Today we're going to make a half pipe. Let's get started. If you've been watching my previous tutorials, you already know the basics of making a simple ramp. So let's start with our drawing tool, our line tool, and I prefer to make a canvas. Let's make this ramp roughly 5 foot high. This should be good. And then we're going to have a big platform, so let's go ahead and go back 10. Should be good as well. So here's our canvas. Triple click, make a group. Right? We will delete this later. This is just for sketching out our curve. So press A. I think 12 sides might be a little small. Let's do how about 16? A lot of times I just kind of eyeball this and guess the amount of angles. Remember to keep it on the canvas, not on the red or green. Well, I guess you can't really snap it to the green. You want the bottom of your curve here at the very bottom to be as close to that blue line, the ground, as you can without going through it. Alright? Delete our canvas. Follow the green line on this part. This will be our platform. I think 4 feet is good because that's the size of a piece of plywood, 4 foot by 8 foot. Now if you want to snap here, roll your mouse over the very beginning and it should create, should create a little dotted line which you really couldn't see because of the green axis, but it was there. Okay, so this is going to represent the curve and the height of a ramp. This is definitely a nice ramp like the mono a mono. Press P, we're going to press and pull. My goal is not just to make a half pipe, but we're going to do some elements like a extension or a roll-in. I've never done a roll-in, so this will be fun and kind of interesting. Let's stretch this guy out 16 feet. Try to stay with increments of 8. Because as I said before, plywood comes in 8 foot by 4 foot, and you want to make sure your widths and your heights will match that. Of course, this is 5 feet high, so that will change how much plywood you use. But you want to build a bigger ramp, you're going to have to use bigger plywood. Well, you know what I mean. Use more plywood. Alright, let's go for one side. Let's triple click. And you can see the 16 sides. Those dotted lines represent each straight line that makes this curve. For now, let's make this a group. Right? Let's copy, paste. Copy, paste. That's being stubborn. Sometimes this happens in Linux. Oh, I think it just crashed on me. Alright, give me a second to relaunch. I'm going to have to redraw that. And that happens for you as well. No program is perfect, so there can be crashing. So I'm going to go back and open my template. And then I will go ahead and redraw that quarter pipe really quickly. So what was it? Let's go up 5 foot. I think we did 10. Canvas, triple click. Okay. And notice when you press A. Oh, I also noticed when you zoom, those sides go away. So you can't type at this point. See? Oh, actually I can. See, I even learned something too. 16, enter. Let's get our curve. I'm going to eyeball it. I don't want to go all the way up to the corner. You know what, that does not look like 16 sides to me. It is, okay. Just wanted to double check real quick. Alright, nice curve. So it goes completely almost to flat ground, but not exactly to flat ground. Green axis, 4 foot. Down, we know it's 5 foot, or you can snap down here to the beginning. Oops. That's what happens when you don't click and let go quick enough. If you click and drag a little, it ends up just dragging the distance that you let go of the mouse. What do we do? 16. It's a nice wide ramp. Triple click, group, copy, paste. There we go. Not sure what was going on earlier, but it happens. The reason why I snapped it to the back of this face is because I want them perfectly in line. So we know that it was 10 feet, so let's go 20. Haha, that's funny. Okay, it really doesn't matter how far we go because we're going to snap it. So to flip this, right click, flip along green. Right? Now for starters, we're going to snap right to the corner and then we're going to back off. And with this, all these little moves, I'm using the move tool, which is M. We're going to back off 8 feet. That's plenty of flat ground for a 5 foot. In fact, you could go a little further than 8 feet. Let's do another 4. See, that's plenty. You still have plenty of speed. 8 foot's probably better when you're thinking of costs. Let's throw a little rectangle. That's R. You want to snap corner to corner. Right click, reverse face, triple click, make a group. Right? So there's a half pipe, but we want to do so much more with this. Let's start by building a little extension. So this is as simple as drawing a rectangle, as we have in the past. Remember, you can hold shift to hold it, snap it to that blue axis. I've gotten pretty good at just eyeballing it with the pencil, and I keep it on that blue axis. I'll let go of the mouse. Let's do a 2 foot extension. Okay? On the green axis, let's do 4 foot. Ooh. Alright, there we go. Now, obviously we're not going to make a vertical extension. This is just the canvas we use for making our curve. So I'm going to flip around. Now the hardest part is to follow this curve and make it the right amount of sides. So 16 is way too high. Let's do 4. Now do you see if I go back too far, it now makes a corner here. We don't want it to be a corner. So I'm going to hit escape and try again. A little closer up. We also do not want it to be vert. Zoom in. The closer you zoom in, the finer tuning you can do with your mouse. So that looks pretty good. That's almost vert, but not quite. You need like 10 feet to be vert. But you do not want this line and this line to be straight because it will look very awkward. So delete our canvas. Endpoint, we're going to go back. Well, hold shift and we'll go back and snap over that corner. Snap. Hey. Snap. And snap. Right? So there is a proper extension. And let's pull this guy out. I'm thinking 8 foot. That's pretty good. In fact, I might want the whole ramp to be wider because you really can't grind on this side because it's just 8 feet is just not long enough to grind. Triple click, make it a group. But as you can see, there is an extension. So let's go ahead and make our ramp a little bit wider. You want to go into the group. You can see the bounding box. Once you double click, it goes inside. It shows everything kind of fades and it shows bold lines for inside the group. Press P. Let's go another 8 foot. So I think it's about 24 feet wide. That's really quickly, easily to match. Go into the group on this side. Press P, click and release. And then roll your mouse over the edge of this ramp anywhere. And it'll halt at exactly the same width. So there's a nice wide ramp with an extension. We'll get rid of this line later. Just a couple extra steps. Now for here, you can stretch if you wanted to with scale, but I prefer the pure way. I go in to that group, click once on the line on that side, and use the move tool, pull and snap. The reason why I don't like the scale is because if you had a texture of wood on this and you use the scale, that texture would literally stretch out and get very low quality and look really bad. So it's better to be pure and moving and adjusting and editing your faces from within the groups. Even within the groups, you can still use scale, but it'll either stretch that face, or sorry, the texture, or it'll start to duplicate the texture, which might be okay. We'll do textures in a later tutorial. Okay, let's get this extension as part of this ramp. What we're going to do is do Control X to cut. We want to go into the group, so double click. We can do Edit, Paste in Place. Now, yes, it's still a group, but if we explode the extension group, it is now combined. Uh-oh. I thought that would work. Doesn't like that line right there, so we might have to just tell it to hide. Huh, very strange. Well, I did something wrong. Ah, see what happened right here? That's why it's not working. There's a gap. I'm very happy that happened, because I wanted to display. Sometimes when you make a small error, it doesn't behave, and it's my fault. So in that case, let's go ahead and redo it. I'm going to back out, paste in place, so everything's exactly the way it was. But let's zoom in. See, there's a gap there. I did not expect to see a gap. We can repair the gap or just redraw it. I prefer to redraw. So let's go into the extension group. We're going to select everything but the front face here and delete. See how I did that? Just draw a rectangle from the right. It's a dotted rectangle. As long as nothing on that face in the front is selected, it'll select everything else, right? Let's use our line tool. This time let's follow this face exactly. Hit escape. Should to snap right in the corner there. And we're going to hold shift to keep it on this green axis, but we want to snap to this back line perfectly. So this time it should line up. Let's zoom in, take a look. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Sometimes that just happens. There's no rhyme or reason. I must have missed a snap. Something. So same thing with the back. What we're doing is, instead of pressing and pulling, we're just kind of rebuilding. And there's nothing wrong with that. The quicker way is doing the push and pull or press and pull. Alright? So let's cut this again. Go into our quarter pipe or half pipe. Paste. Explode. Now it should be happy. Yeah, there we go. So now you can't see the difference. It looks like it's all one. Now unfortunately you cannot delete this line because, as we saw earlier, it deletes all the faces, but we can hide it. All the lines that you see in this curve that are dotted are hidden lines. So that's all we're going to do, is convert it to a hidden line. So edit, hide. You can also right click and hide. I prefer edit because sometimes you're in the middle of editing a line or a curve, and if you move the mouse, it messes up the shape of your curve. Alright, there's our extension. No coping yet, but why not? Let's go ahead and make some coping. Press C. Make sure on the red axis so it goes vertically. Click once and release. And then we're going to type 0.1. P for push and pull. Here's our first coping. Triple click. Now, first of all, that is way too many curves. Probably not necessary, but if it's a concept, not a big deal. Make a group. I did forget to move it back, but that's what's great about 3D and SketchUp. At any time, you can make changes, and it's no big deal. So there you go. There's a nice, let me pull forward just a little bit. You want to stick out just a little. You can see the edge here, a ramp and the curve. Sticking out just a little bit is great. Your wheels will hit that bump, but you'll pop right onto that coping and lock in. Let's do the same here. 0.1. As you can see, I like to take the long way because it's not easier, but it helps you to get to know the tools better, and it helps you with editing later on. If you always take the easy way and just push and pull everything, you're going to miss some details. Not always, but you can miss details. Right? Ramp, extension, lots of room for grinding. We can maybe hide these edges down here later on, but I kind of like to see those because in a real ramp you would see lines. Be from the plywood or the masonite. Okay, now let's do a roll-in. Like I said, I've never done this before. This will be interesting. I think what I want to do is unhide all of these lines because I'm going to use those for guides. Let's go edit, unhide, selected. Okay, let's try that again. Edit, unhide, selected. It's not working. Edit, unhide, all. Oh, I know what it is. It's hiding because under view, let's see, I think there's a setting in here that will, the wireframe. Oh no, that is cool though. Ah, it hid the hidden lines, that's awesome. Yeah, they're still hidden. Thought there was a hide. Okay, well, let's try this. Let's go to our toolbar. And under here, there is soften edges. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Okay, once I triple click this side of the half pipe, you can do soften edges, turn it down to 0. And there you go, no longer hidden. That's partly what this soften edges does, is anything that's curved, as you lift up or increase the number of degrees, it'll start hiding edges automatically. But the reason why I wanted to do this is because I want to find the midpoint. Kind of drag your mouse back and forth until you see that little circle. Now this is important. You want to see perpendicular. Perpendicular means you're right at the exact midpoint of the other side. It should be easy to find midpoint. What I'm doing is drawing where I want it to kind of be the center of our roll-in. And we don't have to put it in the center. We could do it on the edge. I was thinking it might be cool to use the center. Alright? Now, if you center the camera so these lines are almost straight up and down, we can do our drag to the right rectangle. This is a selection rectangle. And you can select just those lines. Nothing else will be selected. But they have to be inside the rectangle. Do M, snap to the top, hold Control to make copy and let go. For most cases, 2 feet should be fine. It should be enough to roll down, and then you can do tricks over that. 2 feet. Okay, that looks really tiny. I'll move it over just a little bit more. 1 foot. So as long as you moved it on the same red axis, it won't do anything. And what I mean by anything is, well, actually kind of just sticks to it. I meant something like this. This will completely mess up your ramp if you try to move it on the wrong axis. I just hit escape to undo that. Okay, so now how far back do you want the roll in? Let's try 2 feet. And use that red axis and snap my mouse to there and then complete it. Okay, so what we want to do now is delete, but we can't just do this because watch what happens. See how the back of the ramp is selected, and we can't do that. Well, maybe we could. Let's try it. Nope, can't delete that way either. The best way is to manually delete one line at a time. Or face. I prefer lines because when you delete a line, the face connected to it disappears. Okay, so there's our hole in the ramp. Now, let's make a curve. So first thing we'll do is kind of do like a canvas. Start in the corner, use the blue axis, snap, and snap. See how it fills in? It's exactly what we want. Right? But now we're going to draw a new curve from here to here. This will be interesting because it has to kind of match the slope here and then curve back. 2 feet might not be far enough. So you can easily select this line. Oh, see what it's doing? That's not a big deal, but you could easily just select that line with Shift, use M again, pull it back 1 more foot. Okay, so we may have to make this platform wider so someone could stand here and roll down. But let's just see. Let's see how this ends up. Okay, now press A. 4 sides might do it, but let's do 6 just to be safe. Here to here is our new curve. You like? I hope so. Let's see if press and pull will work. Ah, that does work. Okay. Wow, that was almost painless. The only thing we're missing now is there's a hole in our ramp. Now, how do you fix that? Let's go back. Let's just draw it in. Here. And there. Right? Now this might be a little messy when we're done, because there'll be a bunch of extra lines inside. But that's not the end of the world, because we can always go inside the ramp and fix it. So I'm going to select the back face, delete. Yeah, see these extra lines? We don't need these faces at all. So one quick way to delete them is use our dotted line. And yes, it did select the face back here, but use Shift, click, unselect it, delete. No one knows the better. No one has any idea. Now if you're wondering, how do we fill in this face? It's as easy as just drawing a line from corner to corner and it'll automatically fill in. Then you can just delete that line. There you go. Pretty cool. Now let's say, I don't know, I don't want it here, here in the middle. I want it more to an edge. You can do that rectangle to the right. Press M and literally slide the whole thing over. Right? So this way you have a long coping you can grind on. Let's go 5 foot. So even here at 5 foot, you can still ride up and ollie and clear that, or ollie and grind. Right? If you wanted to, you could copy and paste this to the other side. But it just depends on what you want to do. Okay, let's get our hidden lines back. So we're going to select that group, increase, there you go. All we need now is some coping. So C, make sure it's on that red axis, 0.1. And just snap your mouse at the edge there, triple click. Slide back, or make a group, either way. It doesn't always have to be in the same order. Oh. Let's go down a wee bit. Looking good. Alright, let's do another one. And yes, you could just copy and paste that one. Let's try that real quick. See what happens. So you want to copy it to the exact same corner and paste it to the exact same corner on this side, but see what happened? It's too long. So here's a trick. You can double click and you can barely see where the face starts here. Press P and just kind of center your mouse. Press and pull. Get out of the group. Done. So there's multiple ways to copy, to move, resize, recenter. SketchUp is so fast. You want to make this platform wider or longer? Let's go 4 foot. How's that? So there's a half pipe with an extension with a roll-in, coping, 5 feet high. This extension is 7 foot, which is huge. Definitely do some airs and hand plants on that. Let's say you want to make a little wall around the top of your ramp. Okay, that's easy. Start with midpoint because you don't want to go all the way up to the edge. I mean, you can, but I don't think it's necessary. And here's a tool we haven't used yet, fillet. So I think it's called fillet. That's what I call it. Oh, that's right. You got to select those lines. So triple click. So all three are selected. Fillet. Just click anywhere and release. Let's see how it duplicates the line. It basically makes a copy, but perfectly. I'll do this the thickness of, I don't know, 2x4, which is like 0.33. Okay, that's too big. Let's try it again. We'll do 0.17. That's 2. Oops, that's 2 inch. That happened because I dragged. I should click and release. Hey, it is not behaving. Oh, you see why? I accidentally made a duplicate. Undo. Control Z. Triple click. Fillet. So it really depends on where you put your mouse to get the distance you or the direction you want. 0.17. Okay, much better. Let's fill that in. Click, click. Let's go over here, same thing. Find the end, click. Should have created a face, and it did. Press and pull. Go up 4 foot, which looks huge. But there you go, there's a wall. Group. You can put color textures on there, wood if you want. But now you could stand in the corner and do a couple of pushes and roll in and hit this 7 foot side if you needed to. Or you can just roll in here. So that is a half pipe. Great for skate parks, great for backyards. You can think of some other elements that we can add to this. How about a ledge? You know how some ramps have a ledge? Let's do 6 by 2. Whoa, that's way too small. 10, comma 3, enter. There we go. Ledge like 2 feet high. Right. Now this really doesn't make sense. It defeats the purpose of having coping here. I mean, you could still do stalls and stuff, but you know how they like to pop up, land on the ledge and jump back in? So you could put a ledge if it was a massive skate park. So it's just an idea. You can easily draw some, put some coping on this. So this is very quick. So in a way it's kind of like a tombstone. I think a simpler ramp is just more exciting because there's so many tricks you can do with just a plain old half pipe. But the roll-in's kind of nice for beginners that don't know how to drop in. What other ideas? Make a bowl out of it. Maybe make a curved bowl that goes this way. Yeah. We know how to do that with Follow Me. Well, enjoy making your ramps, and feel free to post some videos or pictures of how you did your ramp, how high. All right, have a great day.